part of me, but I'm still...
It's the other part that gives you the problem in your back.
Yeah. So they're related. Yeah. And so I keep getting a deeper realization of that as I continue to teach. The question is, when I first started, I had the ego side had this amazing picture of this structure and how to teach this and how it all fit together. But what I keep getting is that any structure, and it seems like students want structure. They want to, it appears, it looks to me like...
I'm going to save you some time. Yoga, in its original form, arose out of the centeredness of the one who engaged in the movements. When Paul becomes centered and listens to me, there are things to be said, not calculated in his mind. There are words to be said, there are movements, and there's just nothing else that's appropriate. He experiences no distraction from being perfectly attuned to the moment. And I don't just mean a tiny physical moment, but the universal moment. So therefore, although I appear to be talking with you, here, everything that's transpiring here is also being a universal event. Now, the movements occurred in the same way that the movements are occurring now, because of an attunement, a centered attunement that the practitioner was consciously inviting and cultivating. Nowadays, the tendency is to teach the movement to get centered. It's backwards. In the beginning, yoga was the expression of harmony and love. It was the evidence of a heart or soul connection, you see. It was the outcome. And when you started speaking about your teachers, before you had even said anything, I almost said to you, yes, but were they able to connect with your heart? Were they able to make a heart connection with their students? You see the difference? Connect with your students' hearts, so that their heart connection, their soul connection, gives support and guidance to the movement. What's important about yoga is something that can't be photographed. If you want to get hung up on whether you can do the fantastic poses, go ahead. You'll probably experience a little back strain. But be connected, and you'll find that if you were photographed, it might be amazing, and yet you won't be fooled into thinking the photograph means anything. This is a very important point for you. A lot more profound than you think. For you. And so I would encourage you to just abide with it and let it grow from within you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, hands. We have a question from downstairs. Paul is not psychic, she told him at the break.
Are they coming up?
Recently, some friends have asked me to ask my guidance their questions. I'm going to try and wrap 2 questions into one here. As soon as I catch my breath. The more serious the question, the more apprehensive I feel. One friend...
You see, it is your judgment that one question is more serious than another.
Yeah. Yes.
You see, it isn't the question that matters at all, it's the answer. As far as you're concerned, the question doesn't matter. It's the answer that you're there to listen for. So don't become sympathetic or personal with the person asking the question. Don't evaluate it. You will come up with what it means to you, and it may not be at all what it means to them. Oh, this is a serious question, but they may think it's not that serious. Someone comes to you and says, I only have $2 in the bank and I've got this and that, and you say, oh my God.
What if I tell them something wrong?
Yes, and yet they could come to Paul, who has become comfortable with $2 in the bank, and when they say they only have $2 in the bank, he does not have a personal reaction to it, and he's able to listen. He's able to listen without his own fears associated with lack of money getting in the way. And because he continues to have the experience of needs met without his being in control of it, and without his having an ongoing full bank account, he anticipates having the answer. That's what occupies his attention rather than reactions to a low amount in the bank account. So, you're going to have to learn quickly, if you're going to let people ask questions, not to pay too much attention to the questions. It's like having one ear attuned to your guide, or even 1.5 ears attuned to your guide, and the other half ear listening to the question. This is very important. The answer is what is important, and the answer may not have anything to do with what they asked.
Yeah.
Because the real question didn't get expressed by them. It's their reaction that got expressed. So it doesn't matter what the question is. And don't you put an evaluation on it. Another thing that will happen is you will find yourself enervated, becoming exhausted in the process of attempting to be, your process of caring about how that person is feeling. You can't care about what that person is feeling. It's irrelevant. You're there to be listening for the answer. You want to feel the feeling associated with the answer. 30 seconds after you give the answer, they may be feeling totally relieved.
That happened, yes.
But if you believed what your first reaction was, oh, this is serious, you would say, this is going to take a long time to work out. It's going to, this is going to be a difficult one. You see what I'm saying? You can't get hung up on the question, the questioner. You stay listening and focused on the answer. Paul has listened to you ask this question, but he doesn't care about how you feel about it, and he doesn't care how you will feel about the answer. Because if he does, he will block hearing me. And then, like they say, as the blind leading the blind, both will fall in the ditch. You're not there to be sympathetic or compassionate. If they're asking you a question, they don't want you to listen to them. They don't want you to see things the way they're seeing it, because they want an answer that will solve the problem. And that answer has to come from some other place than the way they're seeing it and the way they're feeling about it.
Okay, yeah. How clear am I getting connected?
You will have to let the people who ask you questions answer that. I mean that. And then you can't let it count for
Can't
too
you
much.
comfort me a little bit?
No, I can't, because
All right.
that wouldn't be comfort. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant how well you're doing. You will continually do better as you lean into the process of listening. But like I pointed out to Paul, if the result of his listening was something that only came out of 2 speakers out in his front yard when he was sitting at a microphone in the house, there is no way he can go out and check to see how well it's working. You see? It's a totally useless question or investigation. You better get used to it now. Stay at the microphone. It doesn't matter what's happening out at the speakers, but if you're at the microphone, something will be happening, and that's success.
I was wondering if it would be appropriate if I asked the friend's question that they put to me to you now.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
I want you to answer that, not now. I want you to answer that question for your friend.
Thank you.
And forget about being right or wrong. It's very important for all of you. Listening for guidance can't have anything to do with getting right guidance. Else your listening will not be unconditional. It will not employ trust, and it will diminish your ability to hear. Yielding means yielding. Thy will be done. If you ask a question, you must yield to the answerer. If you're not trying to answer it yourself, yield to the answerer. Listen unconditionally. You see, it's your conditioning that keeps you in tiny ticky-tacky boxes. How on earth can you get out of your conditioned boxes if you don't listen unconditionally? You see? And so you can't put any conditions on it. You must just trust into nothing. You must just trust into God knows what. With no conditions put upon it. And become a fool.
Pretty easy for me, thank you.
It's not really easy for anyone. I know you're joking. Because when you're in that place, that's when something truly meaningful can happen. Just do it, do it, do it. Okay. Hands.
Good afternoon, Raj.
Good afternoon.
It's nice to be here. When the lady was asking her question about unconditional love, I had this great feeling of love for Raj. And it was a grand feeling. And then later I thought, isn't it interesting how much easier it is to love a disembodied spirit than someone in the flesh, so to speak?
You really think you are an embodied spirit?
I guess not, now that you mentioned it.
Everything is universal and specific simultaneously. And I could present a specific form. But if I did, you would listen to me differently, and it would get in the way. Because you need to think is not the right word. You need to experience in a larger context. But it would be helpful to you not to look at each other and think that you're embodied spirits. The difference is that I am giving my attention to everything from the universal aspect of myself, and aspect is not a good word, whereas you are all looking at everything from your specific aspect. God is universal, you might say formless, and specific simultaneously. When you listen for the Father or the Holy Spirit, you are listening into, or to your guide, you are listening into the universal aspect. And your communion with your guide allows you to, or facilitates your remembering how to be from the universality of yourself, so that your whole attention is not being given to just the specific. Right now you are all out of balance or imbalanced because you are perceiving everything from a very exclusive, finite standpoint. Yes, you're correct. It is easier to love a disembodied spirit. And it will be easier for you to love your brothers and sisters if you stop defining them as embodied spirits. And again, it brings you back to the point that love is needed right where the unlovable is. Love is needed right where the ignorance is. Love is needed where the bad behavior is. In other words, with all these embodied spirits. Your love helps you get past the sense of embodiment that they present and that you project upon them. And that's why it's called healing, because it illuminates something more than embodied spirits. Continue.
My question is around a perceived loss of faith and a perceived fall from grace. In 1998, I went back to the island of Kauai, where I had lived for quite some time, with the thought that I would eventually realize a dream of purchasing a home there in which I would live. And the second place that the realtor took me to, I had that unmistakable feeling of this is it. It felt so right and seemed to satisfy the dream and the need and etc. So then I went back to my hotel room to begin arranging the financing and became tremendously afraid. Doubt, fear. Oh, what if I invest all the money here and there's a big hurricane? Oh, what if I get trapped on this little island and miss what's going on in the rest of the world, etc. And became immobilized and could not pick up the phone. And went back to Southern California and agonized and agonized. And the deal, of course, went south, so to speak, went away. And then this next step was, oh my God, what have I done? The opportunity to fulfill my dream had been presented to me, and I lost faith. I became afraid. I didn't trust that the process could be successful. I have I've become a traitor, a coward, and for the next 2 years proceeded to beat myself up unmercifully and think of all the reasons why I should have done it and how marvelously it should have worked. And now I was totally off my path. And I have thrown the deal back in the face of spirit, etc., etc. Then one morning I wake up and my arm is numb, my left arm. And I'm losing strength in my left arm. And I'm in constant pain with my left shoulder. And as a personal trainer, not being able to pick up weights this is a very threatening feeling. And never really having been through anything like this before, it was terrible. And sleepless nights, and as you can imagine, we've all been through it, so I won't get into the rest of it. And then one morning, I wake up, the shoulder feels better. The gravity of the situation begins to fade, and here I am. So, what happened? What the hell was that all about?
Well, the story certainly isn't new.
It's probably one of the oldest stories.
Exactly. Is that a clue?
There must be a book about this somewhere.
The only appropriate response I can give you is, so what? Big deal. It doesn't matter.
My shoulder still hurts a little.
Come here.
Thanks, Mom.
It doesn't matter. This too shall pass. Absolutely nothing happened that needs to be commented on. I mean that, nothing happened. The playing out of the human drama, faith and faithlessness, hopes had, hopes lost. Oh. The only thing that matters is I'm happy to see you today.
Was there any value there? In other words, the next time it won't, if there is a next time, hopefully not, but will it preclude there being a next time? Or when a next time threatens, will having gone through this be beneficial to make it?
I certainly hope so.
Some people never learn.
You are not one of them.
Oh, thank you. Then let me just say,
Indeed, that is the appropriate response. There really is nothing to say.
well, it's good to see you too. You disembodied spirit, you.
You still stand on the threshold of discovery, as you did before, and as you always will, because that's what being with the movement of creation is, standing on the threshold of discovery. Your experiences do give you perspective so that you can behave differently in the future. What you simply can't afford to forget is that it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And it's not a one-time do or die event. So, let there be eager curiosity about the fulfillment that stands at your doorstep always.
Can I say it then?
Yes.
Hands.
Yes, up here.
Oh, this is closely related to this gentleman's situation. I have been engaged in working on a music project called Little Flowers, and I'm sort of at a standstill and wanted to ask if it's appropriate for me to continue with expectations of fulfillment.
Not with expectations of fulfillment. Stay with the movement in you that leads you to act.
Okay.
Not for a future fulfillment,
Okay.
but as a fulfillment of what's moving in you now.